This is where the River des Peres ends in University City and turns into an underground sewer. We were met at the entrance to this 20-foot tunnel by the Metropolitan Sewer District's Bess McCoy. So we are standing in the River des Peres.
Yeah, and the River des Peres runs through U City. It comes into this tube here and runs about 6 miles down to where the tube opens at Mackland and Manchester.
MSD's project is cleaning and inspecting this tunnel. It had already removed huge slabs of concrete from the tunnel entrance and was about a mile in early December, still bringing stuff out. Where did this stuff come from? Do you know?
No, I mean, it came from upstream, but beyond that, it's hard to say. You know, it could have gotten washed in from, sidewalks or, other...
And the water has the power to move concrete blocks?
Yeah, when you get that much water, it's pretty powerful stuff.
The day we were at the tunnel entrance in U City, there was just a trickle of water running into it. The next day's forecast, though, was for an inch or two of rain. Couldn't be here.
No. Yeah.
Tomorrow or tomorrow night.
Yeah, no, today was the day, just because of a couple inches of rain. When you're talking about an entire watershed draining into one area, a couple inches adds up really quick.
Yeah. After the rains, the River des Peres and the tunnel were working as designed. But the River des Peres and other creeks in the watershed can go from this to this pretty quick. And it was in July of 2022 that rivers, creeks, sewers, streets were overwhelmed. Officially, just over 9 inches of rain brought widespread flooding. U City was just one of the areas hard hit. Homes on both sides of the River des Peres were flooded, including Marianne Gaston's house, which is right above the tunnel entrance.
Ended up with almost 2 feet of water in my first floor. I've lived here 27 years.
Yeah. And the River des Peres, this channel was always in your backyard.
Right.
You must have kept an eye on it, though.
I didn't, because it never caused an issue.
Yeah. But it was flooding issues more than 100 years ago that brought about this underground system in the first place. Here's how it came about. The River des Peres used to run as a river through Forest Park. It wasn't clean and it sometimes flooded. It was first put underground temporarily for the 1904 World's Fair. But the extensive tunnel system we have today came about because of a 1915 storm brought to the Midwest by a hurricane. It poured a then record 7 inches of rain in 24 hours, flooding homes and businesses, and bringing demands for an engineered solution. The city started putting the entire River des Peres under Forest Park in the 1920s, emerging into the open combined sewer that forms the city's southern border, a massive project recognized as a marvel of modern engineering. MSD has taken visitors under Forest Park to see the junction of these huge sewer tunnels, and while it's hard to imagine when you're there, they do fill up fast in heavy rains. And there are those who say in the summer of '22 storm, debris at this tunnel entrance made the flooding in the U City neighborhood worse, although it's not clear if the debris was already there or if it was deposited by the stormwater or both.
It had to have had an impact. It may not have been the major cause. I mean, there was a lot of rain, and it came quickly, but it didn't help.
MSD sees it differently, says the cleanup was not prompted by these flooding concerns.
And so I understand people seeing this being a bottleneck. What we've seen is that our models show this tube is acting exactly as it's designed. And so it wasn't a matter of this tube blocking the flow. It was simply a matter of too much water and development in a floodplain.
Yeah, and the River des Peres, you can't really see it well, but it's right beyond the bushes.
It's right up behind.
Yeah. Retired Washington University professor Bob Criss was the guy who brought to the public's attention all that debris at the tunnel entrance. We met him in a nearby U City neighborhood that also flooded a year and a half ago, and before that. There used to be houses all the way along here.
A couple dozen.
Right. Those homes were bought out and torn down after the 2008 flood. Homes across the street flooded in 2022.
To a geologist, it just screams, this is where you do not build your house.
Right. He's an outspoken critic of building in floodplains and rebuilding in floodplains.
I think buyout is the most cost-effective way
Yeah.
to deal with flooding. We need to turn some of these lands that should have never been developed, that are geologically inappropriate, and turn them back into parkland.
Well, this is where the River de Pere water was.
This is
July
the
of
level
22.
from July 22, which is about 1.5 feet higher than 2000.
Chris serves on U-City's Stormwater Commission and was behind the effort to post signs showing the high water mark and the development of a flash flood warning system.
It gives us about 40 minutes most of warning, that's all.
Yeah.
The River de Pere responds within an hour to heavy rainfall.
And the difference between now and, say, 100 years ago is not just the frequency of extreme rains due to climate change, but the widespread development that's brought increased runoff from the entire watershed funneling into these rivers, streams, and sewers. And dealing with that means dealing with MSD and municipalities and state and federal agencies and individual landowners and developers.
I don't frankly give a hoot about finger pointing. All I care about is fixing problems. You see, we have this myth where we can out-engineer our problems away.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately with global warming, we're going to see more and more of these types of events. We're going to see the atmosphere holding more water and then dumping it all at once.
MSD says it's willing to help work on broader solutions. Voters will be asked in April if they're willing to increase their sewer bills, in part to provide additional resources for unspecified stormwater projects. But the tunnel stays. It was built long before MSD was created, and this project will actually help MSD get to know it a little better.
So really the reason we're here, the reason we have Ace Pipe Cleaning contracting with us is to inspect this tunnel. We know that there are about 100 different connections where wastewater comes into. Exactly.
Neighborhood sewers, 100 times are
Yes.
coming into this tunnel.
Yeah, and we know more or less where they are, but we don't know the condition, and we don't know the exact location for all of them. And so this is a way for us to, inspect, see if there's any routine maintenance that we need to do.
It's not likely St. Louis will get another 9 inches of rain anytime soon. Not likely, but not impossible. If and when it happens, things will flood again, and there will be more serious conversations about what we need to do about it. For Living St. Louis, I'm Jim Kircher.